Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be here to meet with you. This is the first ever introduction of the Azerbaijan International Development Agency at the United Nations. The Azerbaijan Republic has been making a considerable economic growth over the current decade, and it not only managed to strengthen its economy to the point at which it became the regional investor, but it also started initiating and promoting projects at a larger scale and eventually became the donor country. With this, for the purpose of provision of international assistance in a structured and organized way, in September 2011, in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Azerbaijan was created the Azerbaijan International Development Agency, or AIDA. AIDA is having its operations in two different directions. One is the humanitarian aid, another development projects. Now with the humanitarian aid, AIDA is providing assistance to the countries hit by natural and man-made disasters. It also coordinates assistance provided by other Azerbaijani government agencies in this regard. So last year, the assistance was provided to Afghanistan for the victims of the earthquake, to Serbia, Bosnia and Herzegovina for floods. Floods in Pakistan, AIDA agency provided assistance to some 25,000 people in 8 cities. They were provided with first food stuff boxes. Also, assistance was provided to Philippines during the Haiyan, to eliminate the consequences of the Haiyan typhoon. The assistance was provided to Gaza for rehabilitation of the Gazas. But during this my visit, the purpose is also the provision of aid to fight Ebola. And AIDA is providing $1 million to fight Ebola. If we speak about the provision of humanitarian aid, the agency is constantly improving its activities in this area, and the purpose is so that aid comes very fast. So we are trying to establish the most efficient mechanism in order to be the first on the ground. That is the challenge that we are. That is how we are challenging ourselves, and we want to improve and become one of the most efficient agencies in the humanitarian aid. On the development side, I should mention that there are projects such as provision of scholarships to students from developing countries. For some of the countries, this is extremely important because they have either insufficient number of universities or the lack of the universities, or universities are of not a high level. And so these people, they get their way into the future lives according to professions they choose in the best Azerbaijani universities. We also provide assistance and scholarships to professionals from the developing countries in the areas where Azerbaijan has competitive advantages. In the first head, that is, of course, the energy sector, as Azerbaijan is one of the oldest energy-producing countries, oil-producing countries. AIDA is promoting science-to-science cooperation. This is also important for the sustainable development of the developing countries. In partnership with the Islamic Development Bank, AIDA is conducting the fighting avoidable blindness operations, cataract operations, in 9 African countries. We not only participate with our ophthalmologists in this campaign, but we also contribute to creation of local capacity of ophthalmologists in those countries. They get trained during the campaigns so that the difference is made, and after a while there is sufficient number of local ophthalmologists in those countries that would be able to continue those operations on their own. That is important. That makes a difference on the ground, and that is what AIDA tries to achieve. Another thing is that during the AFAP campaign, there should be results, and results are sizable. So it is fighting avoidable blindness. The abbreviation is AFAP. Some 10,000 people in those 9 countries, they underwent the free eye surgeries. Some 3,000 of them, they were found with, they were affected by cataract, so they were operated free of charge and regained their vision. And of course, regaining the vision, you can imagine this is a totally new thing for the person, and his life would get a new meaning in a direct words. His whole future life will be filled with light. And so the people are able to return to work, to getting income, additional income for their families. They make their lives happier, and they make happier the loved ones around them. But there are always human stories behind that. And some of the stories are amazing. In one case, there was a lady who, when she was married, she got pregnant, and she had cataract starting on her both eyes. And she went blind. And she had a baby, a boy, whom she never saw. And after operation, and the boy was some 18 years old. She never saw him. She recognized him after the operation by his voice, because for the first time after operation she saw her son. So there are, of course, unique stories behind each case of each person. But there are cases that, like this, that show how the difference and happiness comes to the lives of those peoples. Another area is the electronic governance or information communication technologies. This is what AIDA brings to the developing countries. We are working with the government of Afghanistan on establishment of electronic governance in Afghanistan. We want to expand these operations to several more countries. We believe that there are achievements in this area that Azerbaijan can offer and share with other countries. But having said this, I also want to raise a couple of issues, because when the country becomes an emerging donor country, it has challenges in its growth as a donor country. And for that, it needs attention and encouragement. And for that, the visibility given to emerging donor countries is important. That means that the emerging donor countries should be given some special, focused, attentive attention in order for them to grow, strengthen.